Hello and welcome to Gentle Movement, Yin, and Restorative Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So for this practice, you'll want some pillows and a blanket, at least one, 2 yoga blocks if you have that around, a strap, something like it. And let's begin sitting down. See if it feels okay on your knees to sit in some variation of Virasana, hero's pose. And that's where you place your shins on the ground, point your toes back, and the knees are no wider apart than hips distance in front of you. If your knees are feeling sensitive to this, you can use your folded blanket and place it right behind the backs of your knees, sandwiching that blanket between your calves and your hamstrings like this. Or you could take your block, even 2 blocks if you like, and place it right between your ankles, like a stool to sit on. And as you're getting situated, just take a moment to look around your own space that you're practicing in. Visually orient yourself with your yoga space. Take in the colors and the textures that appeal to you. And then begin to feel the ground, the surface below your body as you spread your weight throughout the front of your pelvis, the back of your pelvis, the left and right sides of your pelvis. Maybe even taking a moment to shift around to feel those 4 points at the bottom of your pelvis. And then finding center as you root down more evenly through the 4 points. Lift up from the bottom of your spine. Maybe close your eyes and visualize this as though you could restack each vertebra from the bottom up, creating a little more space in between, eventually lifting your inner gaze up to the crown of your head, and then relaxing the shoulders, maybe rolling them back and down a few times as you continue to root the pelvis down and lift up to your crown. Letting the shoulders roll slightly behind you and then softening them down. Feel your collarbone smile, sort of say a little wider. And then let your hands rest wherever it helps you to connect to your heart. Because that is today's focus, this month's focus even, heart-opening practices. The energy of your heart, Anahata Chakra, as well as back bends, opening the fronts of the shoulders in the physical practice. You may have heard me quote the Dalai Lama, who said, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. And compassion is one of the ways that we can practice the very first yama within the first limb of yoga, which is ahimsa, non-violence. Other ways we practice it is through loving kindness, those sorts of meditation practices. Pema Chödrön, mindfulness teacher that I quoted in yesterday's class, has such a compassionate way of explaining mindfulness and its practices. One thing she says about Tonglen, which is a meditation practice that we played with yesterday, is that in the practice of Tonglen, whatever pain or discomfort you feel, you take it in, wishing for all beings to be free of it. And whatever pleasure you feel, send it out to others. In this way, our personal problems and delights become a stepping stone for understanding the suffering and happiness of all beings. And she also says, whether you are sick or well, rich or poor, comfortable or uncomfortable, practice Tonglen. We're going to dive more formally into the meditation practice later with it, but just to plant these seeds of thought that you might use as you're encountering perhaps moments of discomfort in your physical body when we're in postures. So whatever is wanted, send that out for others to enjoy. And whatever is unwanted, breathe that in, experiencing it directly for yourself and all the others who are in the same boat. So it might sound counterintuitive to breathe in the suffering, but it's a way of not bypassing difficult emotions or discomfort in the body or even pain, but being with the rawness of the experience as it is, but then also remembering that there are others in this world that are experiencing or have experienced that same kind of suffering. And so as you bring relief to yourself, you're also sending that same relief out to all those beings who are on the same boat. So keep that in mind, and let's begin joining the hands to meet at the heart. Saying your personal prayer or clarifying your intention, your heart-based intention, sankalpa for this practice. And as you're checking in with how you feel in your different layers of being right now, physical body, energy body, mental and emotional body. Who comes to mind that might be on a similar boat as you with any way that you're feeling right now? Maybe someone that you know personally, maybe some group of people you've seen on a documentary. And I invite you to think of them sharing whatever you benefit from in this practice with them from afar, sending them love from afar. Let's deepen the breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling to your mouth. A couple more times. Breathe in a little slower, a little deeper. Empty it out with any sound. One more time. Preparing to chant, sending out our intentions, resonating them within us to 3 ohms. Take a deep breath. Towards your heart, the power and beauty of your heart. And let's begin with 3-part breathing, Durga Pranayama. So visualize your torso as if it were a jar. At the bottom of that jar is your pelvic floor. The top of the jar is just at the base of your skull. Dividing that jar into 3 parts, the lowest cross section is around your lower abdomen, lower back. The mid cross section is most of your rib cage and all the way around. The uppermost cross section is your chest, neck, shoulders, your upper back. So as we take the first in-breath, you fill up the lowest cross section, then we'll pause. Then you take another third of an inhale, we'll fill up the mid section, then pause. Then you take one more inhale, you fill up all the way to the top of that jar, holding the breath, but relaxing the body. And then we'll exhale everything slowly through the nose and hold the breath at the bottom. And that's 1 cycle. So let's take 3 cycles together and 2 cycles on your own. And you might find it helpful to place your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your lower belly to help section off the top and bottom parts of your torso. So let's begin. Empty this breath. Hold it out. Into the lowest part of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Mid part of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Uppermost part of your torso, inhale the last third. Holding the breath, relax your body, observe what you feel here. Exhale everything slowly through your nose. Hold the breath out. Round 2, Inhale 1/3. Pause. Inhale 1/3. Pause. Inhale last third. Hold the breath in. Exhale everything. Hold it out. Last round together. Inhale 1/3. Hold. Inhale 1/3. Hold. Inhale 1/3. Hold. Exhale everything. Hold at the bottom. And then on your own, take 2 more cycles of Durga Pranayama. 3-part breathing. When you finish holding the breath out on this last cycle, relax into natural breathing and take a moment to observe the effects of practicing that pranayama. Then let's utilize all 3 parts of the torso as we inhale deeply through the nose. No longer pausing, find the top of your inhalation, then ease the breath out through the nose just as slowly. Without holding the breath, finding a smooth transition as you balance and sustain the in-breath with the out-breath. And then gently narrow the back of your throat to invite a soft whisper that you can listen to. It's very subtle, not forceful. It gives the mind an anchor to steady its focus. So practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. And as you keep this breath pace going, please start to lower down onto your hands and knees, all fours. Setting your wrists on the ground so they're just beneath your shoulders, but stepping your knees back a couple inches behind your hips. Starting to move in cat-cow Betalasana. As you inhale, draw your chest through your upper arms, then coiling it up, drop the shoulders back. As you exhale, press down through your hands and contract your belly, rounding your back, drop your head. Then again, inhale the chest forward, sliding the shoulder blades down, look up. Exhale, lifting the navel, feel the tailbone tuck underneath you. And take another 5 or so rounds here of cat-cow pose, or Betalasana in Sanskrit. As you remember, this is your practice. Notice if your body needs to explore a different version of a movement or pose. Let the sensations from moment to moment help guide you in choosing how to take care of yourself here, how to find balance of effort and ease. Though most of this physical practice will be leaning towards surrender and ease. When you finish rounding on this next exhalation, relax to a flat back. And then from here, find your 2 blocks, placing them across your mat on their lowest height, the top of your mat, like a train crossing it. Come down onto your stomach. Extend your arms forward with your palms face up so that your forearms are on the blocks. And then from your shoulder sockets, rotate your outer upper arms towards the floor to spread your shoulder blades apart. Then keep pressing the shoulder blades down your back, away from your neck, And you can decide whether you want to keep your arms straight, palms are rotated upwards now, and lower your forehead on the floor to the degree it will lower. Or for more sensation here, we're going to hold this for 10 breaths. You can bend your elbows and place them shoulders distance apart on the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other and trace your thumbs down the back of your skull, down the back of your neck, as far back as your thumbs will go as you lower your head. Now tune in to 10 deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. Keep wrapping the triceps towards the floor. Keep sending the shoulder blades down your back. About 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, gently lift your head and put the blocks aside. Create a pillow out of your forearms crossed and rest your forehead on top of them. And bending your knees, you're going to add some gentle windshield wiping of the shins. Lift your feet up. Keep resting your head down and drop both of your shins to the right as far as they'll go. And drop them both to the left. Now to the breath rhythm. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Keep going. You've got 10 in total breaths here. Windshield wiping your legs. Just helping to loosen your lower back. And when you finish, let's take one of those blocks and place it just to the right side of your skull. You're going to begin to open the inner right shoulder first. So slide your right arm straight out to the right with the palm face down, in line with your right shoulder. Place your left hand on the floor beside your left shoulder and begin to press the floor away with your left hand, slowly rolling over to your right hip. Place the right side of your head onto the block, and then slide your right shoulder blade further down your back, opening up space along the right side of your neck. And then for 10 breaths here, take your time leaning back just to the amount that your inner right shoulder can feel opening, but not strain. Sometimes there is discomfort as we're creating that opening, but find where it's not out of balance. Tune into your breathing, as that will guide you too. If the breath becomes difficult, especially all of a sudden, that might be a signal to back off a little. You might also explore wrapping the left arm behind you. Notice what sensations might be there. And notice if the body's saying, maybe not today, or yes. About halfway through those 10 breaths here on the side. Slow, deep breaths, filling up all 3 parts of that jar, that torso. And when you are finished with those 10 in total breaths on the right side, slowly roll onto your belly, Take your time transitioning here, coming back to center. And once there, take that block and move it over to the left side of your skull. Slide your left arm out to the left with the palm face down. Place the right hand beside your right shoulder on the ground and begin to press the floor away as you roll over onto your left side. Take your time. Notice even the subtlest sensations guiding you. Send the left shoulder blade down your back ribs, lengthening the left side of your neck. You might explore what you did on the first side and see if that's available here. Maybe. And land your attention back onto your breath. We're about halfway through those 10 breaths here. Take your time when you're ready to roll onto your belly again. And from center, press your hands into the floor and come on up into a comfortable seat. You may want to grab your pillow or block to sit on. We're just going to do some head rolls for a moment after we've opened up the collarbones. So send the shoulders back and down, root your pelvis down, lift the spine, and then drop your chin down towards your sternum at the middle of your chest. Begin an inhale, turning your head to one shoulder, then looking up. Exhale the head to the opposite shoulder, looking down. Go at your own pace of breath, nice and slow, maybe even slower if that's more helpful. Taking about 3 circles in one direction. And when you're ready, 3 circles in the opposite direction. Gentle. And once finished evenly on both sides, take a look at how you're sitting. If your legs are crossed, you may want to switch the cross of the leg that's forward on top. As you take a deep inhale, backstroke your arms and bend your elbows wide apart like a cactus shape. And then exhale, cross your right elbow over the left into eagle arms, Garudasana. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms in palms. And as you send the shoulder heads downward, lift up through the back of your skull and align your elbows to the height of your shoulders while gently pressing your forearms forward away from your face. Feel any sensations, especially around your trapezius muscle, which is the sides of your neck, the back of your neck, the tops of your shoulders, and your upper back. About 8 more breaths here before we switch arms. If you like, you can even explore what it feels like to drop one ear towards one shoulder for a few of those breaths. And then the other ear to the opposite shoulder. Invite your breath to expand right between your shoulder blades, as though your breath could massage any tension that might be there. Last 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, lift your elbows a little higher if you can. And as you exhale, backstroke your arms, come back to that cactus shape, crossing the opposite elbow on top. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Again, glide the shoulder heads down, lift up through the back of your skull. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. 10 breaths here. Here you might also explore dropping one ear towards one shoulder for a few breaths. And then switching sides. Couple last breaths here. Invite the breath into the space between your shoulder blades, inner edges of your scapula, the bottom inner edges of your scapula. Lift the elbow tips a little higher. Take a deep breath here. As you exhale, backstroke your arms. Ooh. Now let's make our way slowly to stand with the feet wider than hips distance. Grab a strap, you might like to use it here. Separating your feet a little wider than hips distance. Actually, we will use a strap first for sure. So take hold of that strap between your hands and place that strap across your lap. Separate your hands wider than shoulders distance apart. You might call this shoulder flossing. So keep your elbows straight, keep your shoulders relaxed away from your neck, standing tall, and inhale, raise your arms overhead. Notice if you need to space the hands wider apart here to keep the arms straight. Exhale the arms behind you and down. Keeping the shoulders down the whole time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them forward and down. Keep going at your breath pace for about a total of 10 breaths. Treat this like a mindful vinyasa flow, synchronizing the movement to your breath. And if you find that your shoulders are getting looser, you might like to step the hands a little closer together. Now, as you continue this movement, I invite you to notice the energy of your jaw. Feel into your teeth, your tongue, your cheeks, behind the ears. Is there anything to notice there? Then scan your attention into your eyes, your skin between your eyebrows, your forehead, all the muscles in your face. We've got about 3 more breaths. All right, so now step your feet much wider apart because we're going to prepare for a wide-legged forward fold, and still make sure that your feet are parallel. Take the strap in your right hand and raise your right arm so the strap hangs behind your back. With the help of your left hand, rotate your outer right upper arm forward, pressing both shoulders down your back. Bring the right elbow behind your skull. Reach your left hand underneath behind you to take hold of the other end of the strap, then walk your hands as close together as you can. You might be able to reach your hands to meet, in which you can drop the strap and clasp your hands. Now take a deep breath, coil your chest up, look up. As you exhale, slowly bend your knees generously and bow, leaning more weight forward. Soften the back of your neck, soften your jaw. We're here for about 5 breaths before we switch arms. So you can even gently shake your head, no, nod your head, yes. Keep raising your shoulder bones away from your neck, tilting your weight forward, as far forward as you can balance. And if there's rounding in your back, bend your knees even more to eliminate that. 2 more breaths. You might even flutter your lips to help loosen your jaw. Now bend your knees a lot more and firm in your belly. As you breathe in, lead with your chest and slowly rise all the way up to stand. Release the arms. Take a pause here. Notice whatever sensations are happening. Prepare for side 2, maybe using the strap in your left hand as you raise your left arm so that the strap hangs behind you. Use your right hand to rotate your left tricep forward, pressing both shoulders down. Bring the elbow behind your head. Reach your right hand underneath behind you. Catch the other end of the strap. Then walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. As you take a deep breath, coil your chest up. Exhaling, bend your knees, and with a flat back, hinge forward from your hips. Deep breaths here, just about 5. Let your skull feel completely heavy, like you're not trying to hold it up, you're just softening the back of the neck. If you want to loosen your jaw again, you can flutter your lips. And as you let your skull fall, keep lifting the shoulder bones away from it. Remember, you can bend your knees as much as needed so that you don't feel added strain in your neck, shoulders, backs of the legs. 2 more breaths. This is a variation of Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold with your arms in cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Bend your knees a lot more, pull in the belly, and start to lift the chest. Inhale, slowly rise up. Release the arms. If you want to just move in your own way, like do some waves. Your arms, roll out the shoulders, shimmy out. Maybe even sway the hips. Just a few breaths here. Check in with your body, perhaps through organic movement. Feel into your breath again. All right, so let's come to sit again. And then come down to your back. Bend your knees. Take hold of your bent knees. And as you breathe in, rotate your thighs away from each other. As you breathe out, draw your knees together. Inhale apart. Exhale together. 7 more rounds, just like that, or switch directions. So you're rotating your thigh bone heads in their hip sockets, helping to warm up your hips, lubricate the hip joints, as well as massage your lower back. You might feel it in the glutes as well. Switch directions again. Another 5 breaths in this mini vinyasa flow. There was a point where I could help myself fall asleep just by doing this. So bend your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg forward on the ground. Circle your right foot at the ankle, breath by breath, bringing your right thigh closer to the outside of your the right side of your lower abdomen. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed on the floor, your head relaxed down on the floor or on a prop. Now, Imagine happy baby pose, but with just your right leg. So splay your right knee outside of your right shoulder. Press your left hand down into the top of your left thigh, or bend your left knee and step the left foot on the floor. Bring your right arm to the inside of your right thigh, and with your right hand, catch hold of your outer right shin or foot. Raise the sole of your right foot to face the sky, and notice your breath. About 5 breaths here. Step your left foot onto the floor and turn out your right thigh, flexing your right foot, cross the ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4. Option 1, keep your left foot on the ground and press your right palm gently against the top inner side of your right thigh, splaying it open. Option 2, thread your right hand between your thighs and use both hands to catch hold of your left shin or thigh, slowly bringing your left leg towards your chest. Option 3, if your right calf is only about 4 or so inches away from your chest, keep your right foot flexed and cradle the sole of your right foot and your right knee between the crooks of your elbows like you're carrying a baby. Then straighten your left leg forward onto the ground. So whatever variation you're in, let's take another 5 deep breaths. Then from here, set your right foot on the ground, bend your left knee into your chest, hug your left thigh or shin, and slide your right leg to the floor straight. Circle your left foot at the ankle to your breath, going in both directions. Apanasana, or wind relieving pose. Bringing your left thigh further to the outside of your left side of your belly. Now let's prepare for that half happy baby pose with just the left leg. You might opt to step the right foot on the ground for more stability, or if it feels fine, keep the right leg straight and press your right palm onto the top of your right thigh. Make sure that the back of your right hip stays on the ground this whole pose. Bend your left knee to the outside of your left shoulder. Bring your left arm inside of your left leg. Catch hold of your outer left shin or foot with your left hand. Turn the sole of your left foot to face the ceiling and continue to draw your left knee towards the ground. How's your breathing? You might feel that this shape resembles lizard lunge. It's pretty much that lying on your back. Now let's bend the right knee and step the right foot on the floor. Turn out your left thigh at the hip. Flex your left foot and cross the ankle over your right thigh like a figure 4 shape. Option 1, press your left palm on the top inner side of your left thigh. Stay here. Option 2, thread your left hand between your thighs. Use both hands to catch hold of your right leg and slowly bring it closer to your chest. Option 3, if your left calf is fairly close to your chest already here, then cradle the sole of your left foot and your left knee between the crooks of your elbows, like you're holding a baby, and straighten your right leg forward on the ground. Now let's take another 5 deep breaths. And from here, bend your 2 knees into your chest and begin to gently rock and roll in any direction so that you can gently lift your torso upright. And we're gonna come into your variation of legs up the wall pose. So look around your space and see if there's a flat wall area, at least the length of your legs. If not, if you have a couch or a bed, something you could elevate your legs onto, go ahead and move your mat, if you're using one, right up against that wall. So these are actually curtains. This is not a wall, but I'll demonstrate. So if your mat was perpendicular to that wall, have a seat so that one hip is flush against that wall to start. Then turn over onto your side, come into a fetal position, lying on your side, scoot your 2 glutes into the wall to touch. Once your 2 glutes are touching the wall, roll onto your back, and you're in it, resting the backs of your legs on the wall. Now, if you want to raise your pelvis a little higher and promote more boost of blood flow, circulation, you can step your 2 feet into the wall with your knees bent, lift your pelvis, and then take a block or pillow and slide it underneath the flat part of your lower back. And then you can re-extend your legs if you like. Whatever version of a restorative inversion you're taking, take a moment to feel your 2 shoulders and allow them to evenly sink down and away from your neck onto the ground. Take a moment to feel your 2 hips, find symmetry as much as you can, bringing that inner gaze up to your legs and feet. And then closing your eyes, visualize your next inhalation, attending to any part of your body in which you might feel some form of tension or discomfort. Sort of shining the spotlight there so you can truly feel what is there through your felt sense or physical. And as you breathe out, what would relief feel like in that spot? So if it's a heaviness in the belly or in the chest, maybe you visualize and create the feeling internally of lightheartedness, lightness in the belly, spaciousness. We're now bringing that practice of Tonglen into the physical body. So I invite you to continue that, pinpointing any other areas, if so, of any kind of discomfort, pain, or tension. Let the inhalation naturally spotlight the feeling. And as you exhale, invite the opposite, invite the soothing relief of it. What an opportune time to play the song, and it is an ancient mantra to promote healing based on the heart. Remember that the throat energy center, one way to activate energy flow there is through vocalization, using your voice. So if you feel called to, sing along. It's Rama, Dasa, Dase, Soham. In short, it means I am in all of nature and all of nature is in me. Interconnectedness, which is what compassion teaches. Soham. And if you're not singing along out loud, you can sing mentally and feel the effect of the sound. Sound is powerful. Music is powerful. Notice how your body might be responding in the most subtle way, or your heart may be responding. So we're going to take our time now. If you would like to change position for our final resting pose, bend your knees towards your chest or step your feet on the wall first to lift your hips and remove any prop that might be under your lower back. And then turn gently to one side and pause. So once you've been lifting your head higher, your legs higher than your heart for a while, you don't want to lift the head up too quickly. That can cause lightheadedness. And after you've turned over to one side, stayed for a few breaths, then you might press the ground and lift your torso up. And then place your body in a position in which you can invite stillness, or presence, or complete letting go. Shavasana is the practice of ultimate surrender, ultimate trust. So within that, bring your attention to what arises in the stillness. In your mind, in your body, in your heart space. Sense any effects of your practice. Take your time to gently begin moving your body, starting with small parts, like rubbing your fingertips against each other, turning your head slowly. Notice what wants to move first and next. Listen to your body. And with this kind, caring attention, take your time to lift your body up, placing it in a comfortable seat for 5 minutes of meditation. So you can rest your hands, if you like, on your lap. One mudra we've practiced before that helps to bring attention to your heart and cultivate the energy of your heart is the lotus mudra, and that's bringing the heels of your palms to touch with your palms face up, the inner edges of your thumbs, the inner edges of your pinky fingers together like a blossoming lotus, and letting your thumb tips rest at your sternum. I like to think of this, to me it feels like an energy channel, like you're calling something in as we focus on compassion and what we're sending and receiving through Tonglen, our meditation practice. You might think of this as your palms are like a vessel to the heart. So close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on something, sitting tall and relaxed. Then land your attention where you feel your body naturally breathing. As you rest in awakened presence, I invite you to call to mind a discomfort, could be physical or emotional or mental, or maybe pain that you have recently felt. Maybe you're currently feeling it. As well, call to mind somebody else, someone you know personally or from afar, maybe on TV you saw on the news, or you read about this group of people who may have the same experience of suffering, a similar kind of suffering. Like if you have an achy shoulder, you might think of the documentary and when you watched impoverished families carrying rocks on their backs in India, and think of how they might be feeling achiness in their shoulders as well. So as you naturally breathe in, feel that discomfort or that suffering for you and that other being. And as you naturally breathe out, send yourself and that other being the relief. So if it's an achy shoulder, then feel ease in your shoulders and in their shoulders. Continue with each in-breath, naturally feeling that suffering. And with each out-breath, sending the relief to yourself and the other. Now let's expand our compassion practice, making the taking in and sending out bigger. If you're doing Tonglen for someone that you love, extend it out to all those who are in the same situation. If you're doing Tonglen for someone you see on TV or on the street, do it for all the others in the same boat. Make it bigger than just one person. You can do Tonglen for people you consider to be your enemies, those who hurt you or hurt others. Do Tonglen for them, thinking of them as having the same confusion and stuckness as your friend or yourself. Breathe in their pain, send them relief. As Pema Chodron says, Tonglen can extend infinitely. As you do the practice, your compassion naturally expands over time, and so does your realization that things are not as solid as you thought, which is a glimpse of emptiness. As you do this practice, gradually at your own pace, you will be surprised to find yourself more and more able to be there for others, even in what used to seem like impossible situations. I love how she also advised to practice this with resentment or other feelings like jealousy. So how might you bring the practice of Tonglen into other situations that you encounter this week? Notice how it affects you, just like the other tools of yoga. Let's join the palms to meet at the heart. Take a deep inhale through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Closing this practice, remember the intention or personal prayer that you came here with. And remember that being to whom you've dedicated this practice to. Together, let's chant one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.